Welcome back to Simrite Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to sew this open back kimono top with gathered sleeve. So if this is what you want to learn in this class, I will encourage you to stay till the end of this tutorial. So here you can see what I have. I have exactly what we have with the open back, with top button and a belt at the back. So please stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. So to begin this tutorial, you just need 1.5 yards of Ankara fabric. Just 1.5 yards. So this 1.5 yards, I'm going to put it on fold. So you can see the 1.5, I put it on fold. So once I put it on fold, I'm going to put that end on another fold. So I'll fold it again. So I'll have 4 pieces. So after folding it, you can see the folded part. So the next thing we are going to do now is to start to take our measurements. So on the folded part, I'm going to take the measurement of the full length line. So the full length gave me 27 inches. So I'll mark the waistline at 17 inches. So that is the only line we need. So the neckline, I'm using 3.5 inches. The neck depth is 2 inches for the back. The neck front is 3 inches for the front. I will connect it to the 3.5 inches width of my neckline. Then I'm going to mark my shoulder at 8 inches and mark my sleeve length from the shoulder at 7 inches. So I'm going to mark the sleeve line at 10 inches. If you're on a bigger size, you can mark 12 inches. So on the waistline, I'll place my waist divided by 4. I have 9.5. I'll add 1.5 inches. So just add 1.5 inches for ease and for seam allowance. On the chest line, I also marked what I have just to get a straight line. Then I'll connect with a curve. Then on the hip line, I'll mark my hip divided by 4. And I'll add 1.5 inches. So I'm going to connect from the waistline to the hip line. So and also blend up the chest to the waistline and connect my kimono curve. So I'll just go ahead and cut out what I have right there and added 1/2 inch on the sleeve line. So I'll cut out the back neckline. So I'm cutting only the back neckline and make a notch at the center front and center back. So now I'm going to open up the dress. So if you open it up, we want to cut the front neckline and create the slit at the center back. So I'll arrange my fabric very well and cut the neckline. So I'll make a slit at the center back first and then cut out the front neckline. So after that, we are going to create a facing for this dress. So I later looked at the neckline at the back and I noticed it's really very down. So I cut the 1 inch off again. So the neck depth for the back is 3 inches right now. The neck depth for the front is also 3 inches. Please take note. While the width of the neckline remains 3.5 inches. So I'm going to create a facing right now for this dress. And to do that, I'm going to bring in a piece of fabric. So this piece of fabric right now, I'm just trying to arrange the neckline before we put the facing. So the piece of fabric, I placed it on fold. Make sure it covers the dress very well. To the back neckline, the back length, you can see me, it has to get to the back full length, okay? So I'll arrange the neckline very well, secure with my pins, and I'll go ahead to cut out the neckline. So I'll cut out the neckline after securing with my pin right now. So after cutting out the neckline, I'll take off the upper piece so we can start to shaping the facing. So make sure you also open the slit on the facing too for the back. So you can see I opened the slit for the facing for the back as well. Then clean up the down edges. So I'll take off the upper piece now. So we'll start to create the facing shape. So I'm using 4 inches on the back, on the front, sorry. 4 inches, 4 inches. So once I get to the back right now, I'll come down by 4 inches on that part and begin to take 3 inches. So you begin to take 3 inches on the center back line. So I'll mark that 3 inches to the down piece and highlight my lines, then I'll cut it out. So this is it when I cut it out. So this is how your facing is going to look like. So don't forget to make a notch at the center back, okay, at the center front of the neckline facing, and also the fabric too. So when laying the facing, it lays nice and flat for you. So this is my facing. So I'm going to cut the belt. So this is the belt. The belt can be any width of your choice. Just place it on fold, and the length is 30 inches. Just use 30 inches length, but the width can be your choice. So my belt is ready, and I also created a loop of 3 inches width. So this is how I created it. I brought 1.5 inch and made my loop. So the length of that loop is 3 inches after I made it. So I'm going to pin my loop right now. So I'm going to step down by 1/2 inch from the neckline and pin my loop. So this is the button loop. So I'm going to place the button loop. I'll step down 1/2 inch and face it inwards. Make sure you face it inwards so that after stitching you will still see the loop. So I'll secure it with my pin at that point. So the next thing we are going to do now is to mark the position of the belt. So I'm using that curve as the position of as the measurement of where I want to put. So I'll just come down by 2 inches there, and whatever I have at that point, that will be the position of my loop, of my belt. So I'll just pick up my belt and fix it right there at the midpoint and secure with my pin as well. I'll also do the same for the other belt. So you can see how I fixed the belt. I fixed it inward so that when we place the facing, after stitching on the facing, we can still see it. So I'll bring back the facing now. I'll place it right side to the dress, and I'm going to stitch the neckline. So I'll pin it first. So you just pin your facing accordingly. Take your time, secure with your pin, because when sewing this facing part, it needs to align very well. So just go ahead and secure with your pin all around the neckline to the hemline as well. So after securing with the pin, next is to go over to the machine to stitch, and I'm going to stitch at 1/2 inch all around. So I'm done stitching. Next is to create notches. So I just create notches on the rounded piece of the neckline, then chop off that part so it will be easy for you to turn very well. So I flip all my seams right now to the part of the facing and top stitch. So I'm done top stitching, and I gave it a good press. I even went ahead to weave the facing. So make sure you weave the facing. You can use hemming gum to hold it, in place, or you can tack if you want, but I use hemming gum for it. So here the dress is ready. Next is the sleeve. So I'm going to take the measurement of what I have on my sleeve, and I'm going to cut a piece of fabric of 8 inches width, and the length is times 2 of what I measured on the sleeve, times 2. So if you measure 20 inches, then the length will be 40 inches. Then you go ahead and gather. So I'll go to the machine to gather. This is what I have for the 2 sleeves. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to sew it on the sleeve itself. So I'll go to the machine and arrange the gathers very well and stitch. So after stitching, this is what I got. So next is to put it together, right side to right side. Make sure you set that part too before you put it together. So I'll just go ahead and put it together, and I'm going to stitch on the side of this dress. So I will stitch from the sleeve, matching them very properly. I'll stitch from the sleeve to the hem. So here is what I have. So I'll make a notch at that kimono curve to ease that part. I'll do the same on the other part. Now I'm going to open up the dress and spread the seams and give it a good press. And that is how we'll come to the end of this tutorial. So you can wear this dress at the back or at the front. It can serve double purpose. So you can tie your belt the way you want. So this is how we'll come to the end of this tutorial. I believe this tutorial was helpful to you. Please kindly subscribe and turn on your notification bell. Thanks for watching. Bye.